Okay, so literally, if you want to get good at saying no, ladies and gentlemen, just promise yourself that you would do these first 3 points in almost all situations, and you'll get amazing at saying no to people, right? Sandwich it, give a proactive explanation, give alternative. These are the three most important in how to say no, right? So you really promise yourself that in every situation you'll try to do this and see how you get better. Now, in a flight or in restaurants, if say the waiter asks you saying, if you ask the waiter saying, hi, can I have a Coke? And if he doesn't have a Coke, if he's a good, good air hostess or a good a steward or a good waiter, they'll say, I'm sorry ma'am, I don't have a Coke, we've run out of stock when it comes to Coke, can I give you a Pepsi instead, right? Can I give you a Pepsi, or can I give you a Diet Coke or a Fanta or any of these other drinks that I have with me? Can I give you some of these, right? Now, look at what the person has done. The person first is apologized, told them that it's not in stock, we've run out of it. So in a way, given a small explanation to why they don't have it, and then they've given you an alternative which is as close to what the person wants, right? So if a person wants a Coke, give them a Pepsi or a Diet Coke as an option, right? If you don't have a Pepsi or a Diet Coke in stock, then the next option could be another aerated drink, which is a Fanta or a Sprite that you have. If you don't have a Fanta or a Sprite, you have a juice, then that needs to be your next option, right? So you're trying to give them everything in the category of beverages because they're thirsty, right? So your alternative needs to be as close to what the person wants. You can't say that, hey, I don't have a Coke, can I offer you a butter chicken instead, right? That doesn't make sense because it's not an alternative which is close to what the person wants. It sounds ridiculous if you say that. That's number one. Number two, like we discussed, is you need to try to give more than one examples, because what it's seen from most research on this subject is the minute that you offer two things and ask people to choose, they're much more likelier to choose something. So if you say, hi, I don't have a Coke, but can I give you a Pepsi, or I have a Diet Coke, which one of these two would you like to have? The minute you present alternatives between two or three things to another person, the probability of them kind of choosing that goes up, right? So as far as possible, give a person more than one alternative, right? It's not always possible, but if possible, give them more than one alternative. The minute you give them more than one, they're more likely to choose from that, right? The same thing is seen in stores. If you're looking for a particular item of clothing which is out of stock, and the attendant will offer you a similar piece in a different color, that's what you want, right? If somebody says, if you go and they say, oh, I want this in black, and it's not there in black, you'd want like a good attendant at that store to say, hey, I'm really sorry, we've run out of stock when it comes to black in large, but I have a really lovely piece in this same design large which is there in brown, and I also have another one which is in green, right? Can I show you these two options? I think you may like them. And that's a nice way of saying no to a person, where you're giving them more than one alternative where possible. Right now, it's always possible for you to give people alternatives when it comes to everything, right? An alternative sometimes is as simple as telling a certain person, saying, you know what, I know you're asking me to do this by 3 o'clock. Unfortunately, I have 1, 2, 3 things to do that have been given to my boss, which I need to finish, and therefore I cannot give this to you at 3 p.m. However, what I can try to do is I can do this probably in 2 days time. You ask me to do this by Monday, I can give this to you by Wednesday 3 p.m. That's one option where I can do it for you. Alternatively, what I can do is I can put you on to somebody else in my team after talking to my boss that can possibly help you out with this thing. Or what I can do is I can give you a brief discussion and send you details of how you can do this thing yourself, right? So you can choose between me doing it for you at Wednesday 3 p.m. or me putting you on to somebody else in my team that can help you out after discussing it in my boss, or me giving you the instructions of how you can do it yourself. You can tell me what you want, but me doing it today by 3 p.m. is just not possible, right? So that's a great way in which you can give alternatives just about in every situation to a person. So these are of all the things that you're going to learn in how to say no, I would say this: sandwich, proactive explanation, and give an alternative are the three most important, right?